So from Washington, we'll go to Alabama. And there was no surprise that the state of Alabama voted overwhelmingly for Donald Trump. So the state has a long history of volatile race relations, but some civil rights leaders still can't believe that the U.S. has not come further when it comes to race. Shihab Rattansi joining us from Selma, Alabama, to tell us what more people there have been telling you, Shihab.
Well, look, let's face it, especially here in Selma, Alabama, there's no surprise at overt shows of structural racism in the United States, but it's very difficult to ignore the fact that a majority of white voters, crossing class, crossing education, crossing income, crossing gender, voted for Donald Trump. And so at the very least, even though this is a complex election, there are various other factors at play, fighting the establishment, trade and so on. At the very least, though, those white voters were prepared to overlook the racist rhetoric we saw coming from the Trump campaign. As it happens, we have a member of the Black Lives Matter movement here in Alabama with us right now, Alecha Irby. I say the words President-elect Donald Trump. What goes through your mind right now?
It shocks me that we have elected a bigot, a sexist, a racist in the state of America. He's holding the highest position in the United States of America, and I can't believe it. The one he downs women. 55%, 57% of conservative women voted for him. It's shocking to me.
So, what strategies then are you going to be using? I mean, how much worse can it get? First of all, you know, Donald Trump says, "What is the African American
future?
Yeah,
my future. I'm afraid for it. To be black in America is dangerous now."
But do you think that, I mean, how much worse can it get? It's not as if the Democrats were actively fighting structural racism, economic racism necessarily, were they? How much worse can it get here, do you think?
I did a protest on the bridge a couple of months ago. We had to appear in court. I didn't get a notice. I got a warrant out for my arrest for failure to appear, but I didn't get a notice because I'm in college. We have a Republican judge over our case. He's a white judge. So it can get even worse than that.
And do you get that sense then, I guess we're in Alabama, the Deep South, that those who, we have overt white supremacy here as opposed to perhaps in the Northeast and elsewhere. I mean, do you think that's going to really empower those forces of white supremacy in the South?
Yes, it is. They're already feeling empowered. It's going to empower them more now. But I'm gonna tell you this, yeah. I'm not my grandparents. We're not that,
So how do you fight back?
One reaction deserves another reaction. Whatever reaction we get is gonna deserve another reaction. How do we fight back? I can't say that we should be nonviolent, but I'm not saying that I'm for violence. But whatever it takes.
But what do you think it's going to come out to? What? I mean, civil disobedience, protest, but you're talking about violence. What do you mean by that?
Whatever it takes. I'm going to just leave it at that.
On that broader sense of the cabinet, we're hearing, for example, that Rudy Giuliani, the former New York mayor, may become Attorney General. What's that going to do about the debate about police brutality or the mass incarceration of black people?
Donald Trump is for stop and frisk, he's for mass incarceration. The people that voted for him supports all of this because they hate black people. The hatred. On November the 8th, hatred won, racism won. All of that won. So it puts black people back in the 50s, back in the 40s, back to slavery time. It put black people back there. It puts them back there.
So this is an argument I'm hearing from white pundits in the media right now, is that, look, it's more complicated than that because in many of the constituencies where Trump won, they voted for Barack Obama twice. So maybe they're not racist. Even though they voted for a man who was saying racist things or advocating racist policies, maybe this isn't about race.
Donald Trump, the reason why Donald Trump probably won is because he tapped into those poor whites' lack of education. So they voted out of ignorance. They don't know that he's not really going to be for them. He disrespects anybody that's not of the 1%, that is not wealthy. So I couldn't believe it. But they came out of the woodworks to vote for him.
Alecha Irby, thank you very much. Alecha Irby from the Alabama Black Lives Matter movement. As you can see, a great deal of concern about what happens next, not just here in Alabama, but around the country when it comes to race relations.
Okay, Shihab, thank you very much. Shihab joining us from Selma, Alabama.